Again, I'm Carmina S. Dalida. Okay, I am a PhD student at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and a special science teacher from the Philippine Science High School main campus. So the title of the research that I will be presenting to you this afternoon is, are STEM subjects more difficult than humanities subjects? Okay, this is a comparative statistical analysis between a students' academic performances in STEM and humanities subjects. Okay, for an introduction, I'd like to begin with a short background about the Philippine Science High School, from where I gathered my data, and from which is also my workplace. Okay, so the Philippine Science High School system is an attached agency, okay, of the Department of Science and Technology, whose mandate is to offer on a free scholarship basis in a secondary course with special emphasis, okay, on subjects pertaining to the sciences and mathematics, with the end view of preparing its students for a science career. Okay. Oh, for a while, please. Sorry for the uh, sorry. Okay, let me share my screen again. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, is this okay now? Okay.
Not yet, ma'am.
So
Not
let
yet.
me, wala pa.
Wala po. There. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's gone again.
It's okay na earlier.
Ayan.
Okay.
Symbol.
Okay. So thank you, okay, again for okay, letting me know. Okay. So the Philippine Science High School, to continue, okay, it offers an education that is humanistic in spirit, okay, global in perspective, and patriotic in orientation. Okay, the Philippine Science High School is also known as PSI. So that is the Filipino term, a shortened, a Filipino shortened term for Philippine Science High School. They were in P is for patriotism, okay, and I is for integrity, S for service, A for academic excellence, and Y for youth leadership. Okay, so just to show you an overview of the PSHS academic curriculum. Okay, so the graduate attributes, okay, of a PSHS scholar, okay, includes a holistically developed global Filipino who is well prepared to pursue a STEM career. And the learner profiles include an inquirer, knowledgeable thinker, communicator, open-minded, creative, and innovative. Okay, balanced, lifelong learners, principled, reflective, and compassionate and patriotic. And also, it includes the following general capabilities, such as literacy, numeracy, ICT capability, creative and critical thinking, okay, personal and social capability, ethical understanding, global perspective, and scientific literacy. And for the content, okay, our curriculum has an advanced, okay, science, mathematics, and technology curriculum. Okay, and also we put a equal importance the humanities subjects, such as in English, Filipino, physical education, health, and music. For the skills, we are also providing, okay, proper platform for the students to develop their 21st century skills, okay, especially on the science inquiry skills. And lastly, of course, okay, we also give equal importance to the passion for science through service and excellence. Okay, so now, um, you're seeing the screen po. Okay, so now, okay, thank you. So this is made possible, the Philippine Science High School made it possible through merging the humanities subjects, okay, with science and technology issues, okay, hence enabling the students to become active agents of change for society and inform global citizens. And as what was mentioned earlier, one of the PSH's graduate attributes, okay, includes the values or valuing of the balance among the social, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, and physical aspects to gain a holistic well-being. Okay, however, okay, here is the problem. Okay, in 2015, the research policy formulation and academics divisions, or simply RPAD, the alumni tracking of the PSHS system reveals that 29% of the respondents shifted to non-STEM courses, okay, in the tertiary level upon realizing that their skills and capabilities, okay, were more suited to a different track, okay, which is a non-STEM field. And this shows, okay, a leak in the STEM pipeline of the Philippines' premier science high school. Another is in the enrollment data of higher education, okay, for the academic year 2017 to 2018, there are 37.5% of the total population of the students, okay, in the tertiary level, okay, who are enrolled in STEM-related courses. Okay, and this means that there are about 62.5%, okay, who are enrolled in non-STEM fields. Now, the 37.5% of the total student population is the potential part of the workforce in STEM-related fields. However, if we are going to compare this, this is relatively low percentage as compared to the 62.5% who are enrolled in non-STEM fields. Similarly, the Higher Education Research Institute reported that student loss rates in college STEM areas range from about 20 to 50%. Okay, and this is one example of how the society is currently experiencing a workforce shortage in STEM sectors. Now, with those problems, it gives us the question, okay, are STEM subjects more difficult than humanities subjects? Okay, so in this study, the researcher analyzed if there is any statistically significant difference between the academic performances of the PSHS batch 2020X. Okay, so that is from where I gathered my data sets, okay, in STEM subjects and humanities subjects based on their general weighted average or GWA. Specifically, this study answers the following questions. Is there a significant difference between the general weighted average of batch 2020X in STEM and humanities subjects? Second is there a significant difference between the general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects across the 8 sections? Okay. Is there a significant difference, okay, between the general weighted average in STEM subject across the 8 sections? And lastly, is there a significant difference between the general weighted average in each humanities subject across the 8 sections? Okay, now finding the balance between STEM and humanities subjects will lead to strengthening, okay, the science, technology, engineering, arts, and the humanities and math education, or simply known as the STEAM education. okay, which is now considered as unimportant approach in the 21st century education. Okay, so we define STEAM education as a transdisciplinary approach which dissolves the boundaries between the conventional disciplines, hence seamlessly integrating concepts and ideas to bring the disciplines together. And in addition, the data gathered in this study may be used in further studies concerning the workforce population in STEM-related fields, okay, which could benefit the Philippine economy in the future. Okay, for the research design and statistical tools, this study utilized a descriptive quantitative research approach, wherein both descriptive and inferential statistics were used in the analysis of the numeric data that were gathered. Here, the general weighted average of the batch 2020X were analyzed, and this batch of students consists of 8 sections all in all. And one of the statistical tools used is the Mann-Whitney U Test, okay, to answer question number 1 and find in statistically significant difference between the general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects of the PSHS batch 2020X. Okay. Another statistical tool that was used is the Kruskal-Wallis analysis of variance by ranks. Okay, so this was used to answer the questions 2, 3, and 4 to find any statistically significant difference in the general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects across the 8 sections. Moreover, a multiple comparison test or multiple comparison tests, okay, also known as pairwise comparisons, they were done to identify which among the 8 sections they differ significantly in their general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects, as well as to identify which among the STEM subjects and humanities subjects statistically differed, based on the students' general weighted average. Okay, for the first part of the results and discussion, okay, this gives us the Mann-Whitney U Test analysis of batch 2020X general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects. So here the table 1 shows, okay, the summary of the Mann-Whitney U Test of the GWA in STEM and humanities subjects of this particular batch. And at the significance level of 0.05, the resulting p-value is less than 0.05, okay, as what is reflected, okay, in this asymptotic sig, okay, value here at the bottom, okay, which means that the distribution of the general weighted average is not the same across the academic strands, and therefore there is a significant difference in the general weighted average between the STEM and humanities subjects of the batch 2020X. And this interpretation corroborates with the data shown in figure 1, okay, that shows the frequency histogram, which further visualizes that the general weighted average between the STEM, okay, and humanities subjects are not normally distributed. Okay, for the second part, okay, this answers the second question. Okay, the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA of the general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects across the 8 sections. So here, the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA was used to analyze if there is any significant difference between the general weighted average in STEM and humanities subjects across the 8 sections. And table 3 shows the test statistics summary. Okay, at the significance level of 0.05, the p-value 0.962 for the GWA in STEM means that there is no significant difference in the GWA in STEM subjects across the 8 sections. Okay, and figure 2, it also supports this interpretation. Okay, wherein these box plots visualize the distribution and skewness of the data. as well as the potential outliers in sections A and section E. Okay, still a continuation of number 2, okay, result number 2. On the contrary, the third column in table 3, okay, shows that the p-value is less than 0.05, okay, which means that there is a statistically significant difference in the general weighted average in humanities subjects across the 8 sections. And also the box plots for the humanities subjects shown in figure 3 shows a more varied students of data in comparison to the general weighted average in STEM, okay, that was shown in the previous slide. So here, since the resulting p-value of the analysis of the general weighted average in humanities subjects implies statistically significant differences across the 8 sections, okay, a pairwise comparison analysis was conducted. And this figure, okay, figure 4, shows that there are statistically significant differences between, okay, the following sections. Okay, sections A and section B. We also have sections A and C. This one. Okay, sections A and B. This is A. Okay, and that's B. The sections A and E. A and E. Okay, A and F as well. And lastly, A and G. Okay, so meron pa. A and H as well. Okay, so here each node, okay, in this diagram, okay, shows the sample average ranks, okay, of each section. And the pairwise comparison analysis across the class sections previously mentioned yielded a p-value less than 0.05. Okay, for the third part of the results, okay, this answers question number 3. Okay, is the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA of the general weighted average in STEM subjects across the 8 sections. So here, the STEM subjects, okay, such as Earth Science, okay, Integrated Science 2, Mathematics 2, Computer Science 2, and Art, Design, and Technology, or simply AdTech, were also analyzed, okay, across the 8 sections by using the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA. And table 4 shows the test statistic summary of the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA in 5 STEM subjects. Okay, this shows that the GWA or the GWA across the 8 sections in the 4 subjects, okay, such as Earth Science, Integrated Science 2 or IS2, Math 2, and Computer Science 2, CS2, do not show any statistically significant difference, okay, based on the asymptotic significant values or p-values. Okay, interestingly, okay, the AdTech 2, okay, is the only STEM subject that shows a statistically significant difference in the students' general weighted average across the 8 sections based on the p-value 0.039, which is also shown in this table. And this p-value is less than the significance level 0.05. With these findings, a pairwise comparison test again was conducted, okay, for the general weighted average in AdTech 2, okay, across the 8 sections, okay, which is shown in figure 5. Okay, so each node here shows the sample average ranks, okay, of each section, and the pairwise comparison shows statistically significant differences in the general weighted average between sections A and G, okay, sections C and G, sections D and G, and sections F and G, wherein all of the resulting p-values are all less than the level of significance, 0.05. Okay, for the fourth and last part of the results, okay, here the general weighted average in humanities subjects, across the 8 sections were also analyzed by using the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA to further support the resulting data shown in Table 3. And the 5 humanities subjects involved here are English, English 2, Filipino 2, Social Science 2, Physical Education, Health, and Music 2, or PEM 2, and lastly, Values Education 2. So Table 5 shows the test statistics summary of the Kruskal-Wallis One-Way ANOVA in humanities subjects. And it also shows that the general weighted average in the 3 subjects, such as English, PE, or physical education, health and music, and values education, do not show any statistically significant difference across the 8 sections. On the other hand, the general weighted average in the other 2 subjects, such as Filipino 2 and Social Science 2, show statistically significant differences based on the p-values yielded, which are 0.023 for Filipino 2 and 0.028 for Social Science 2. So a pairwise comparisons, were then conducted for the general weighted average in Filipino 2 and Social Science 2, in which the results are shown in figures 6 and 7 respectively. For the analysis in Filipino 2, the general weighted average between the following sections are statistically significant. Sections C and H, sections C and G, also sections D and H, sections D and G, sections E and F, and lastly, sections E and H. On the other hand, the analysis of the general weighted average in social science reveals that there are statistically significant differences between the following sections. Sections A and H, sections A and G, sections B and G, sections B and H, sections C and H, sections C and G, sections E and H, and lastly, sections E and G. So for the conclusion, the results of the statistical analysis performed showed that batch 2020X of the Philippine Science High School main campus had better academic performances in STEM in comparison to humanities subjects. And also the general weighted average in both STEM and humanities showed a statistically significant difference, with the mean rank higher in STEM than in humanities. This reflects the efficiency of the Philippine Science High School system's curriculum programs, especially in math and science. However, this does not deny the fact that batch 2020X also did well in their academic performance in humanities subjects. This shows the students' flexibility in different academic disciplines, not to mention the teachers' efforts in using engaging teaching strategies in their classes. For the recommendations based on the aforementioned findings, it is suggested that the Philippine Science High School system continue enhancing its STEM program so that the students will continue to be engaged with STEM, and in the long run will lessen the leak in the STEM pipeline. And this will also help to attract prospective students who could pursue STEM careers in the future. And also for a recommendation for future researchers, they may continue to conduct related studies, such as qualitative assessment on students' perspectives in pursuing STEM careers, that will further explore factors that will help schools to continuously engage students with STEM courses and will help the country in creating more workforce in STEM fields. Okay, at this point, I'd like to acknowledge the following. My professor, Dr. Jose Pedrahita from University of the Philippines College of Education. Also our campus director, Dr. Lawrence P. Madriaga, Campus Director of the Philippine Science High School Main Campus, and last but not the least, Executive Director Lilia T. Habacon of the Philippine Science High School System. So that's all, and thank you everyone for listening.